The 1 hour a day method. Imagine if you could transform your entire life with just 1 hour each day, 1 hour that makes the difference between a life of mediocrity and a life of extraordinary success. Napoleon Hill, the man who studied more than 500 of the most successful people of his time, left us a timeless truth. Success is not an accident, but the result of conscious daily habits. The 1 hour a day method is based on the fundamental principles that Hill described in his masterpiece Think and Grow Rich. This 1 hour is not just any random hour. It is the most important hour of your day, the hour when you consciously work on your future while others sleep, watch television, or scroll through social media. Andrew Carnegie, one of the richest men in history, once told Napoleon Hill that the difference between successful and unsuccessful people does not lie in their talent, not in their circumstances, and not in their luck. The difference lies in their willingness to invest time daily in their personal development. A single hour, consistently applied over months and years, can move mountains. The foundation, your definite major purpose. Before you can use your 1 hour, you must know what you will use it for. Napoleon Hill always emphasized the importance of a definite major purpose. Without a clear goal, your time is like a ship without her compass drifting aimlessly on the sea. Your definite major purpose is not simply a wish or a dream. It is a burning obsession that permeates every thought, every action, and every decision in your life. Hill studied Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, Theodore Roosevelt, and many other extraordinary personalities. What they all had in common was this one thing: a crystal clear picture of what they wanted to achieve. Take the first 10 minutes of your daily hour to visualize your definite major purpose. Write it down, read it aloud, feel it with every fiber of your body. Hill discovered that the subconscious mind cannot distinguish between reality and vivid imagination. When you visualize your goal daily with emotional intensity, your mind automatically begins to find ways to make it real. Imagine you are already the person you want to become. How do you think? How do you act? What habits do you have? Hill called this the law of attraction in action. Your thoughts have a magnetic force that attracts similar thoughts, people, and circumstances. The power of autosuggestion. In the next 15 minutes of your daily hour, you dedicate yourself to what Hill called autosuggestion. This is the conscious programming of your subconscious mind through repeated, positive affirmations. Your subconscious mind is like a fertile garden. Whatever you plant will grow. Most people unconsciously plant seeds of doubt, fear, and limitation. You, however, will consciously plant seeds of success, confidence, and abundance. Hill observed that successful people have a different way of thinking and speaking. They do not use words like impossible, cannot, or too difficult. Instead, their vocabulary is characterized by possibilities, solutions, and opportunities. In these 15 minutes, you will reprogram your mental vocabulary. Repeat powerful affirmations that align with your definite major purpose, but do not do it mechanically. Hill emphasized that emotions are the key. Only when you speak your affirmations with deep conviction and emotional intensity do they penetrate your subconscious mind. Tell yourself every day, I am a magnet for success and prosperity. Every day brings me closer to my definite major purpose. I think, act, and feel like a successful person. My mind is full of creative ideas and solutions. I attract the right people and opportunities into my life. While doing this, visualize how your life has already changed. See yourself living in the house you desire. Feel the satisfaction of doing the work you love. Experience the gratitude of people you can help through your success. Hill discovered that this kind of mental exercise is just as powerful as physical training for an athlete. The study of masters. The next 20 minutes of your daily hour you invest in studying great thinkers and success stories. Hill spent more than 20 years studying the most successful people of his time and decoding their secrets. You can benefit from this decades-long research by diving daily into the biographies, books, and teachings of extraordinary personalities. Do not read just superficially. Study the mindset of these people. How did they overcome setbacks? What principles guided their actions? How did they use their time and energy? Hill found that success follows certain patterns. These patterns can be learned and applied. Focus on biographies of people who were successful in the field that interests you. If you want to become an entrepreneur, study Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, or John D. Rockefeller. If you want to succeed as an artist, learn from the masters of your craft. Hill emphasized that through intensive study of successful people, you can adopt their mindset. Keep a success journal in which you record the most important insights. Which principles can you immediately apply in your life? Hill discovered that writing reinforces learning and helps transform knowledge into wisdom, but do not stop at reading. Apply what you learn immediately. Hill said, knowledge is only potential power. Only when knowledge is transformed into action through defined plans does it become real power. Every insight you do not apply is wasted time. The development of specialized knowledge. Another 10 minutes of your daily hour you dedicate to developing specialized knowledge in your chosen field. Hill distinguished between general and specialized knowledge. General knowledge, no matter how extensive, has little value in building wealth or success. Specialized knowledge, however, is the key to extraordinary results. Henry Ford was once called ignorant in court because he did not know basic historical facts. His response was brilliant. Why should I burden my mind with useless information when I am surrounded by experts who can provide me with any information I need? Ford focused on what was really important: the development and production of automobiles. Identify the 3 to 5 most important skills in your field and get better at them daily. If you are a salesperson, study the psychology of selling, communication, techniques, and customer psychology. If you are a leader, develop your skills in personnel management, strategic thinking, and decision-making. Hill observed that the most successful people never stop learning. They see themselves as students of life. Thomas Edison, who had over 1,000 patents, said he learned something new every day. This attitude of continuous improvement is a common characteristic of all extraordinary people. Use modern technology to your advantage. Listen to podcasts by experts, watch educational videos, take online courses. But do not forget, the goal is not to become a walking encyclopedia, but to develop practical skills that bring you closer to your goals. The power of masterminds. Hill discovered one of the most powerful success secrets when he studied the principle of the mastermind group. A mastermind is the harmonious coordination of knowledge and effort between 2 or more people for a specific purpose. When minds unite in a spirit of harmony, a third invisible force is created that is greater than the sum of its parts. Andrew Carnegie used this principle masterfully. He surrounded himself with more than 50 people, each of whom was an expert in their field. Carnegie himself admitted that he knew little about steel, but he knew how to use the collective intelligence of his mastermind group to build an empire. Invest 5 minutes of your daily hour in building and maintaining relationships with people who share your ambitions or inspire you. Write emails, make phone calls, send messages. Hill emphasized that no significant achievement is possible without the help of other people. But be careful in choosing your mastermind partners. Hill warned against the influence of negative people, whom he called energy vampires. These people rob you of strength, motivation, and optimism. Instead, surround yourself with people who think bigger than you, who support your visions and spur you to peak performance. A modern mastermind group can also exist virtually. Join online communities that match your interests. Exchange ideas with like-minded people. Hill observed that people who regularly interact with success-oriented individuals become more successful themselves. This is because success is contagious. Overcoming fear and doubt. The last 5 minutes of your daily hour are dedicated to the most important task: overcoming the 6 basic fears that Hill identified. These fears are poverty, criticism, illness, loss of love, old age, and death. These fears are the greatest enemies of success because they paralyze thinking and prevent people from taking risks or pursuing big dreams. Hill discovered that successful people do not eliminate these fears, but learn to act despite their presence. Courage is not the absence of fear, but acting despite fear. Franklin D. Roosevelt said, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." Start by identifying and analyzing your fears. Write them down. Most fears lose their power as soon as they are exposed to the light of conscious thinking. Hill found that 95% of all worries never happen. We waste enormous amounts of mental energy on problems that exist only in our imagination. Replace fear with faith. Hill defined faith as a state of mind that can be developed through affirmation or repeated instructions to the subconscious mind. Faith is not passive hoping, but active expectation. It is the absolute certainty that you will achieve your goals even if you do not yet know how. Visualize yourself acting courageously. See yourself giving the speech you fear. Imagine yourself starting the business you have been planning for a long time. Experience in your imagination having the conversation you have been avoiding. Hill taught that the subconscious mind cannot distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real experience. Transformation. Through persistence, Napoleon Hill studied hundreds of successful people and found that they all possessed one common trait: persistence. Most people give up when they first encounter resistance. Successful people see obstacles as opportunities to become stronger. Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times before he invented the light bulb. When a reporter asked him how it felt to fail so often, Edison replied, "I have not failed 10,000 times. I have found 10,000 ways that do not work." This mindset distinguishes winners from losers. Hill discovered that persistence is more than just stubbornness. True persistence is intelligent, purposeful endurance, combined with the willingness to change the approach when necessary. It is like a river that flows relentlessly to the ocean. When it encounters a rock, it flows around it. When it encounters a mountain, it digs its way through. The 1-hour-a-day method is itself an act of persistence. Every day, without exception, you invest this time in your future. Some days you will be motivated, others not. Some days you will see progress, others you will seem to stand still. But you continue because you know that success is a process, not an event. Hill observed that most people give up just before their breakthrough. They are like gold miners who stop digging 3 feet before the biggest gold vein in history. Your daily hour is your promise to yourself to never give up, no matter how dark it sometimes seems. The power of gratitude and positive expectation. An often overlooked aspect of Hill's teachings is the importance of gratitude. Hill found that people who regularly practice gratitude are not only happier, but also more successful. Gratitude opens the mind to possibilities and attracts positive experiences. Begin and end your daily hour with gratitude. Think of 3 things you are grateful for. These can be big things like your health or your family, or small things like a beautiful sunrise or a friendly smile. Hill discovered that gratitude puts the mind in a state that is conducive to success and happiness. Connect gratitude with positive expectation. Be grateful not only for what you already have, but also for what you will achieve. Hill called this gratitude in advance. It is the certainty that your dreams are already on their way to you. This attitude transforms your entire life experience. Instead of constantly struggling and striving, you begin to swim in the flow of life. Opportunities seem to appear out of nowhere. The right people cross your path at the right time. Hill called this the law of attraction in action, the practical implementation of the 1-hour method. Let us now get practical. How do you implement the 1-hour-a-day method in your life? Hill always emphasized that knowledge without application is worthless. You must transform these principles into concrete, daily actions. First, choose your time wisely. Hill recommended the early morning hours when the mind is fresh and free from the distractions of the day. But the most important thing is consistency, not the time of day. Whether you invest your hour at 5 in the morning or 10 at night does not matter, as long as you do it every day. Create a sacred space for your daily practice. Hill emphasized the importance of environment for concentration. This does not have to be a separate room. It can be a corner of your bedroom, a place in the kitchen, or even a parking spot in your car. What matters is that it is a place you associate with your personal development. Eliminate all distractions, turn off your phone, inform your family about your sacred hour, and create an environment of peace and concentration. Hill warned against the destructive power of distraction on the development process. Keep your materials ready. You need a journal for your thoughts and insights, books or other learning materials, and possibly recordings with affirmations or inspiring content. Preparation is the key to consistency, developing a success. Mindset Hill discovered that successful people think differently than the average person. They have developed a success mindset that automatically leads them to successful actions. This mindset can be learned and cultivated. Successful people think in solutions, not problems. When they encounter an obstacle, they do not ask, "Why is this happening to me?" but "How can I solve this?" or "What can I learn from this?" This simple shift in perspective changes everything. They see opportunities where others see difficulties. Hill observed that the Great Depression, which was a catastrophe for many people, represented the greatest opportunity of their lives for others. John D. Rockefeller built most of his fortune during economically difficult times. Successful people take complete responsibility for their lives. They make no excuses and do not blame others for their circumstances. Hill found that this attitude of personal responsibility is the foundation of all success philosophy. They think long-term. While most people think in weeks or months, successful people think in years and decades. They are willing to make short-term sacrifices for long-term gains. This ability for delayed gratification is a major difference between successful and unsuccessful people. The role of emotions in Success Hill made a revolutionary discovery. Emotions are the most important factor in achieving goals. Pure logic and reason are not enough. It is emotions that drive people to extraordinary achievements. The two most powerful emotions are love and fear. Love in the form of passion for your goals and fear of what happens if you do not achieve them. Hill observed that the most successful people develop a burning obsession for their dreams. But emotions must be controlled and channeled. Hill distinguished between constructive and destructive emotions. Constructive emotions like enthusiasm, hope, and love lead to positive action. Destructive emotions like fear, anger, and jealousy lead to harmful behavior. Learn to consciously control your emotions. Hill taught that you are the master of your mind and can choose which emotions you nourish. When you feel negative emotions, acknowledge them, but do not let them control you. Direct your attention to positive, constructive thoughts. Cultivate enthusiasm for your goals. Hill said, "Enthusiasm is the vitality that turns your ideas into reality. Without enthusiasm, your plans are just wishful thinking. With enthusiasm, you become an unstoppable force." The science of habit formation. The 1 hour a day method works because of the science of habit formation. Hill intuitively understood what modern neuroscience has confirmed. Repeated actions create neural pathways in the brain that enable automatic behavior. Hill observed that successful people have successful habits. They do daily what others do only occasionally. The difference between success and mediocrity lies not in big, dramatic actions, but in small, consistent habits. The first 21 days are crucial. Hill found that it takes about 3 weeks for a new habit to begin to feel natural. During this time, you must be especially vigilant and disciplined. After 21 days, your daily hour becomes an automatic part of your life. Connect your new habit with an existing one. Hill recommended this technique to accelerate habit formation. For example, if you already drink coffee every morning, start your hour of personal development right after. The existing habit becomes the trigger for the new one. Celebrate small victories. Hill emphasized the importance of recognizing progress. After each completed hour, take a moment to be proud of yourself. This positive reinforcement strengthens the neural pathways associated with your new habit. The power of written goals. Hill made an amazing discovery. Only 3% of people have written down their goals. These 3% achieve more than the other 97% combined. Writing your goals activates different parts of the brain and makes them much more likely to be achieved. But Hill went beyond simply writing down goals. He developed a special formula for goal setting that he learned from Andrew Carnegie. This formula consists of 6 steps that should be practiced during your daily hour. First, determine exactly what you want. Be specific down to the smallest detail. Instead of saying, "I want to be rich," say, "I want to possess $1 million by December 30th, 2025. Second, Determine exactly what you will give in exchange for what you want. Hill emphasized that there is no something for nothing. Success must be earned. Third, set a definite date by which you want to have achieved your goal. Our goal without a deadline is just a wish. Fourth, create a definite plan for realizing your desires and begin immediately to implement this plan, whether you feel ready or not. Fifth, write a clear, concise statement about what you intend to achieve. Name the time limit for its achievement. State what you will give in exchange for it, and describe the plan through which you intend to achieve it. Sixth, read your written statement twice daily aloud, once immediately after waking up and once just before going to sleep. While you read, see and feel yourself already in possession of the object of your desire. Overcoming procrastination. Procrastination is the silent killer of dreams. Hill identified it as one of the main causes of failure. Most people have great plans and intentions, but they postpone action to a nebulous, perfect time in the future. Hill discovered the secret to overcoming procrastination: immediate action. Successful people have developed the habit of making decisions quickly and changing these decisions slowly. Unsuccessful people make decisions slowly and change them frequently and quickly. The 1 hour a day method is a direct attack on procrastination. By committing to devote a certain time each day to self-development, you break the pattern of postponement. You act while others hesitate. Hill also taught the 5-minute rule. When you are avoiding a task, commit to working on it for just 5 minutes. Often you will find that you continue once you have started. The hardest part is always the beginning. Eliminate excuses from your vocabulary. Hill observed that people who constantly find excuses develop a pattern of failure. Replace "I cannot because" with "How can I?" This simple linguistic change transforms your entire mindset. Developing leadership. Qualities. Hill studied great leaders and identified the qualities they had in common. These qualities can be developed during your daily hour, even if you currently do not hold a formal leadership position. Great leaders have a clear vision and the ability to communicate this vision to others. They are not just dreamers but also implementers who can translate their visions into reality. Hill found that true leadership comes from within, from a deep conviction and a burning desire to serve others. Develop your communication skills. Hill emphasized that the ability to communicate ideas clearly and persuasively is crucial for success. Use part of your daily hour to improve your written and verbal communication. Learn to make decisions. Hill observed that successful leaders make decisions quickly and stick to them. They gather the necessary information, weigh the options, and then act decisively. Hesitation is the enemy of leadership. Develop emotional intelligence. Hill recognized long before modern psychology the importance of emotional intelligence for successful leadership. Great leaders understand not only their own emotions, but can also read and respond to the emotions of others. Practice self-discipline. Hill said, "If you cannot control yourself, you cannot control anyone else." Self-discipline is the foundation of all other leadership qualities. It shows itself in small daily decisions and actions. The art of serving, a revolutionary aspect of Hill's philosophy, was his emphasis on serving. He discovered that the most successful people were those who served others the most. Andrew Carnegie did not become rich by thinking only of himself, but by producing steel that enabled the building of America. Hill taught the principle of added value. Always give more than you receive. This applies not only in business, but in all areas of life. If you consistently deliver more value than you receive, success and prosperity will be a natural consequence. Ask yourself daily, how can I help someone today? And what value can I add to the world? These questions direct your focus away from what you can get toward what you can give. Hill found that this mindset paradoxically leads to greater personal success. Develop a mentality of abundance. Hill observed that people with a scarcity mentality constantly fight over limited resources. People with an abundance mentality recognize that there is enough for everyone, and that the success of others does not diminish their own success. The power of imagination. Hill called imagination the workshop of the mind, where all plans are created. He distinguished between two types of imagination: synthetic imagination, which brings existing ideas, concepts, or plans into new combinations, and creative imagination, which communicates directly with infinite intelligence. Thomas Edison used both types of imagination masterfully. His synthetic imagination combined existing scientific principles in new ways. His creative imagination received ideas that seemed to come from nowhere. Hill observed that Edison often took naps while thinking about a problem and woke up with the solution. Cultivate your imagination through daily practice. During your hour, not only visualize your goals, but also imagine creative solutions to your challenges. Hill taught that imagination becomes stronger through use, just like a muscle. Keep an idea journal. Hill recommended writing down all ideas, no matter how crazy they might seem. Many of his most successful students developed their greatest breakthroughs from ideas that initially seemed impractical. Surround yourself with stimulating influences. Hill found that imagination is nourished by exposure to new ideas, art, music, and literature. Use part of your daily hour to fill your mind with inspiring content. The importance of health for success. Hill recognized early that physical health and mental success are inseparably connected. A sick body cannot house a healthy mind, and a healthy mind needs a healthy body to unfold its full power. The most successful people Hill studied had all developed systems for maintaining their health. They understood that their body is the vehicle that carries them to their goals and treated it accordingly. Integrate health habits into your daily hour. This could be meditation, breathing exercises, stretching, or even a short walk. Hill observed that physical movement not only strengthens the body, but also clears the mind and promotes creativity. Pay attention to your nutrition. Hill taught that the mind can only be as clear as the body is pure. Heavy, processed food makes the mind sluggish and reduces mental sharpness. Successful people eat to live, not live to eat. Ensure adequate sleep. Hill found that the subconscious mind actively works on solving problems during sleep. Many of his most successful students reported waking up with answers to difficult questions they had thought about before going to sleep. The role of faith in success. Hill made one of the most important discoveries of his research. Faith is a state of mind that can be developed. It is not something you are born with or something that happens to you by chance. Faith can be cultivated through repeated instructions to the subconscious mind. Faith is more than hope or wishful thinking. It is an absolute certainty, a deep conviction that permeates every fiber of your being. Hill observed that people with unshakable faith in their goals can perform apparent miracles. Faith works by opening the mind to possibilities that others cannot see. A person with faith sees solutions where others see only problems. He sees opportunities where others recognize only obstacles. Develop your faith through daily affirmations. Hill taught a special formula for developing faith. Write a description of your main goal and repeat it daily with emotional intensity until you have a vivid mental picture of it and believe you will achieve it. Collect evidence for your faith. Hill recommended keeping a success diary in which you document all small victories and progress. This evidence strengthens your faith and makes it unshakable. Overcoming the past. Many people are held captive by their past. Hill discovered that successful people have developed the ability to learn from the past without being imprisoned by it. They use past experiences as a springboard for future successes. Hill taught the principle of transmutation, the transformation of negative experiences into positive power. Every setback, every mistake, and every failure contains the seed of an equivalent or greater advantage. The art lies in finding and cultivating this seed. Abraham Lincoln is a perfect example of this principle. He experienced countless setbacks, business failures, and political defeats before becoming president. But every defeat taught him something valuable and prepared him for his ultimate role. Forgive yourself and others. Hill found that resentment and bitterness are like poison that harms the carrier more than the intended victim. Forgiveness frees mental and emotional energy for constructive purposes. Use your daily hour to heal old wounds and dissolve limiting beliefs. Write about your experiences, find the lessons in them, and then let go of what no longer serves you. Developing intuition, Hill discovered that successful people often possess highly developed intuition. They can recognize opportunities that others overlook and make decisions that later prove to be correct, even when they seemed illogical at the time. Intuition is not mystical or supernatural. It is the ability of the subconscious mind to process complex information and draw conclusions that are not immediately accessible to the conscious mind. Hill called it the silent voice of wisdom. Develop your intuition through meditation and quiet reflection. Hill recommended spending 10 to 15 minutes daily in complete silence, not thinking or planning, but simply being and listening. In this silence, you can hear the subtle messages of your inner wisdom. Trust your first impressions. Hill observed that the first thought is often the right one, before the analytical mind overlays it with doubts and fears. Successful people have learned to respect these first impressions and act on them. Keep an intuition journal. Write down your hunches and inspirations, even if they make no logical sense. Track their accuracy over time. Hill found that this practice strengthens intuitive ability. The power of decision. Hill identified the ability to make quick and definitive decisions as one of the most important characteristics of successful people. Indecision is a major reason for failure. While unsuccessful people think endlessly about decisions, successful people make decisions quickly and act. It is not about always making the perfect decision. Hill taught that a good decision made quickly and implemented vigorously is better than a perfect decision that is never made. Perfection is often the enemy of progress. Develop your decision-making ability through daily practice. Make small decisions quickly and definitively. What you eat for breakfast, which route you take to work, which book you read, treat these seemingly insignificant decisions as training sessions for more important decisions. Hill also observed that successful people change their decisions slowly. They are not stubborn, but they do not change direction at the first difficulty. They give their decisions time and energy to work. Gather the necessary information quickly, but do not get lost in endless analysis. Hill taught the 80-20 rule. If you have 80% of the necessary information, make the decision. The remaining 20% often comes through action itself. The importance of environment. Hill recognized early that environment has an enormous influence on thinking and behavior. Successful people consciously create environments that support their goals and promote their best performance. This applies to both physical and social environment. Hill warned against the destructive influence of negative people and environments. He recommended distancing yourself from people who constantly complain, criticize, or are pessimistic. Create an environment of success. Surround yourself with books, pictures, and objects that remind you of your goals and inspire you. Hill found that visual reminders have a powerful effect on the subconscious mind. Choose your company carefully. Hill said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." If you want to be successful, spend time with successful people. If you want to grow, surround yourself with people who think bigger than you. Also, create a mental environment of success. Control what you read, hear, and watch. Hill warned against the harmful influence of negative news and destructive entertainment on the mind. The transformation of desires into gold. The title of Hill's most famous work, Think and Grow Rich, refers not only to material wealth. Hill defined wealth as the ability to live the life you want, with the freedom and resources to realize your dreams. The transformation of desires into gold follows a specific formula that Hill developed through years of research. This formula is not complicated, but it requires discipline and perseverance in its application. The first step is developing a burning desire. Hill distinguished between mere wishes and burning desires. A burning desire is an obsession that dominates all your thinking and acting. It is something you are willing to sacrifice everything for. The second step is faith. You must be absolutely convinced that you can and will achieve your desire. This faith must be so strong that it overcomes all doubts and fears. The third step is autosuggestion. You must program your subconscious mind through repeated emotional affirmations. Hill taught that the subconscious mind is the way through which desires are transformed into their physical equivalents. The fourth step is specialized knowledge. You must acquire the specific skills and knowledge necessary to achieve your goal. The fifth step is imagination. You must transform your desire into a definite plan and perfect this plan in your imagination. The sixth step is organized planning. You must transform your imaginary plan into concrete, actionable steps and execute them systematically. The ultimate transformation. After months or years of consistent application of the 1 hour a day method, you will notice a fundamental transformation in yourself. This change is not just superficial, but goes to the depths of your character and personality. You will find that you automatically think in solutions instead of problems. Challenges that would have overwhelmed you before become interesting puzzles to solve. Hill observed that this change in mindset is the clearest indicator of successful personality development. Your relationships will improve. People will naturally be drawn to you because you have developed an aura of confidence and positivity. Hill found that successful people often have natural magnetism for others. You will develop an inner peace and confidence that is independent of external circumstances. This inner strength is the result of knowing that you work on yourself every day and continuously grow. Your financial situation will improve, but that is only a byproduct of your inner development. Hill always emphasized that true wealth comes from within and then manifests in the outer world. You will become a magnet for opportunities. Hill taught the law of attraction, like attracts like. When you develop success-oriented thoughts and habits, you attract success-oriented people and situations into your life. The beginning of your journey today is the day your transformation begins. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when circumstances are perfect. Hill always emphasized that the best time to start is now, even if you do not feel ready. Your first hour may seem awkward or unproductive. That is normal and to be expected. Hill reminded that every expert was once a beginner. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail lies not in perfection, but in persistence. Be patient with yourself, but relentless in your dedication. Hill found that most people begin to see the fruits of their efforts 3 to 6 months after beginning a consistent practice, but the truly transformative changes often do not show up until after a year or longer. Document your journey. Keep a diary of your experiences, insights, and progress. Hill recommended this practice not only for self-reflection, but also as a source of motivation in difficult times. Share your journey with others. Hill believed in the power of accountability and support from like-minded people. Find other people who have similar goals and support each other on the path to success. The 1 hour a day method is more than just a self-improvement technique. It is a way of life, a philosophy of continuous development and conscious growth. It is your daily gift to yourself and your investment in an extraordinary future. Hill once said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." Your daily hour is the place where you put this timeless truth into practice. It is your workshop for dreams, your laboratory for success, and your temple for transformation. Start today. Start now. Your extraordinary future awaits you, just 1 hour a day away.